So I'm doing a little bit better than I was a bit before when I posted the last video, in terms of just getting to grips with the pain. I'm still not there. I want to keep this video short. But yeah, I suppose what I'm trying to say is I'm putting out videos like I am, like the one earlier, and for whatever reason my mental health has been taking me on a journey to help me to I'm not going to go into too much context actually. Look, I appreciate how these videos are coming across. I appreciate how distressed I am, how depressed I am, how hard to hear that is. I appreciate the context of humanity. I appreciate the context of love. I appreciate the context of sympathy and charity in terms of why people may watch my videos. Essentially, I began these videos to try and an exploration to see. I was hoping to just talk about spiritual stuff, I think. Spiritual subject matter to try and give me something to keep positive and focused about. But my mental health and my life sort of made that all too difficult, and they bulldozed their way in to that. Sorry, I'm in a lot of pain. Circumstance. And as I kept going, the videos kept proving to be worthwhile, and I'm still here, and they're still proving to be worthwhile, because right now, where I am in my life, I would never have imagined, one, I'd be taking a distraction to talk, two, to put myself out there in terms of showing myself to anybody, let alone the world. Anybody can watch this. And using Facebook. I'm not fond of Facebook. So all of those elements are reasons why there's no way I should be doing this, but it's proving that helpful that I still am. But I've just realised, like from the point of view of myself, where I was making these videos at one point in the hope to get some feedback from humans, to try and get my life back into some sort of order that I could see and coherently. But with the silence that was received initially for that period, the purpose changed. And where I am now with it is a case of there is no point to these videos anymore. I'm not trying to ask for help. I'm not trying to ask for anything from you all. And from your perspective, I know it must be hard to see, how can I listen to this? He keeps coming up in my, what's it called, your live feed, your Facebook live feed, your story, your front page, whatever it is. I don't know what to do. And this is where I am today, and this is the point of this video, is to say there is nothing that can be done. Where I am in my own circumstance, reality has gone crazy on all levels. I'm trying to sit in the midst of all of that as a I don't. My mental health wants me to say lighthouse, but no, just I'm sitting in the midst of all of that, trying to keep grounded. But essentially, that is it. That is a perspective of what I'm doing with these videos, and that is what I'm experiencing from reality is incomprehensible to what we're taught. It's knocking very, very loudly on the doors of my spiritual understandings, and it's demanding me now to start saying, hang on a second, maybe this spiritual stuff really, 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 really is real, basically. That's where I'm at with it. It's like my reality's broken so much. All of this spiritual stuff that I believed on the off chance. So it's like I ate spiritual information for my whole life, and I built a picture of reality. But this reality was always more real, wasn't it? You know, going to work 9 to 5, taxes, money, benefits, renting, mortgages, driving, transport, the basics. That's real. And to see my life now where all of that, in essence, has been brought into question on every level. And I know myself in terms of sincerity, in terms of love, in terms of compassion. I don't mean to be malicious. I don't mean to be horrible, ever. It was circumstance that presents itself to me that where I respond to that scenario, where I scream, and to live next to me must be horrible. So these are elements that life is really pushing me to experience. Right, Andreas, we're going to make you horrible now, but I'm not horrible, but we're going to make you horrible, whether you like it or not. And that's the sort of place where I'm in. And I can't begin to express to you how much and to what levels reality is breaking every single day around me. Reality. We're talking about the world. We're talking about the very decision making in our heads. That is what I mean. We grow up looking at the world and we understand it a certain way. I'm in a lot of pain while I'm speaking. We understand it a certain way. And we just, at least for myself, I presumed that coherent viewpoint of the entire picture was essentially it for everybody. That viewpoint was the same viewpoint everybody formed. And I'm beginning to realize that we're all a bit different. At 35, this is my autism realizing itself, and what I'm beginning to see is that viewpoint of reality is crumbling. In and that what I believed was the driving force behind people is constantly changing. It's like 1 minute it's like, right, people are alive because they love. People are alive because they want to expand their consciousness. And as a collective, you can imagine what the context would be if that was the basis, and what we see outside in the world is reality. That in-betweenness changes, doesn't it? What it takes from our innocence, from ourselves, to create a world like this that we live in, is what I question, and is pretty much what goes into that viewpoint for me. And right now, my understanding of other people, how they all interact, how they all interlinked, is basically just how can I put it for you? It's in constant flux. It's constantly changing. It's like 1 minute I think, right, oh, okay, this is life. Okay, this is life. Okay, this is life. But then you step back and you think I've just lived 3 different lives. They can't all be real. And then you realise whatever reality I'm within, that's viewing these 3 different experiences of life, entirely different experiences of life, is very broken. And that's where I am now. So within that, I have no point to make, because it's like the unfairness and the injustice towards me as a human being that is trying to be, well, just human first of all. I'm just trying to be human. And the injustices that I'm experiencing on every single level, all the way from spirituality, all the way down to the nitty-gritties of everyday life, then into the wider reality of the system, of the interactions and the contradictions and we've got the NHS, that's a good thing, and I'm experiencing the evil part of it. And then we've got the flip side of my interrogation by my recent interrogation by secret services. I don't know which secret services, but I've been terrorised by them. To be fair, it could have been a lot worse, given Guantanamo Bay and all the like. But in the first instance, just as a human mental health disorder, I've been terrorised. So imagine terrorism to the lowest degree. That's what's just happened by the secret services who want to stop that sort of happening. That's what it feels like as a human being. Now, you're welcome to put me in a box and say, oh, he's got a mental health disorder, he's off his rocker, he's talking about psychosis again. Then fine. But for anybody that can actually hear truth, I've been terrorised by secret services. So these are all elements that are going into my reality, and just trying to focus on getting up and carrying on. And my only thinking is, can I pull off a miracle? Can my mental health grant me enough grace so that I can actually get into grips with my physical body and assert my life enough to fix my boat so I can live on it and have somewhere I can sleep, have somewhere with running water, electricity, and somewhere where I can put some heat. And that's all my thinking. That's my thinking as Andreas. And where I come to you with these videos is me taking moments in my life that this interaction, this process of sharing through this video is helpful to my madness. It's helpful to the incomprehensible reality that is Andreas's life. And within that helpfulness, there is me and there is you. And where there is you, there isn't a chance that you're going to really be able to comprehend my life unless you're corrupted. Unless you're corrupted to this experience that I'm experiencing in a different way. Sorry, I've got a bogey. But for the nature of reality, that viewpoint that I was talking about, there is no way in hell I'm going to start giving energy to trying to understand how you are corrupted, to be able to understand and know this insanity. So I take it from the point of the world that we've all grown up in, the shared collective that we've all grown up in, and the shared collective that I built as my original viewpoint before it started to be chipped away at, as innocence and nature. And in that, you can't understand this. So that is how I speak to you. You have no real comprehension of what is going on for me. And from that point, I express to you the insanity that I'm experiencing, both from my head, from my body, and from reality, and from spirituality, and from society. All of these incomprehensible things. I don't want to put any burden on anybody, but I'm in too much pain. And my screams aren't being heard. They're not being heard. The screams of pain aren't being heard. In a world of remedies, we have so many ways to heal my body, heal my pain, and they're not being heard, my screams. We are sick. So I don't feel bad about putting out these videos anymore. I just persist. I pray that there isn't some strange loophole where I'm being done over and then that I'm going to find out I've just created a lot of pain for a lot of people with these videos. But I'd carry on in sincerity that I'm doing the right thing. So all I can really think is that when I express to you my insanity, all it could really ever be is food for thought. Food. Pardon me. Food. Imagine it like, oh, what weird and wonderful thing is Andreas speaking about today? because there's an element of seriousness to what I say, because I'm a human being and I'm innocent, and I know my innocence to my intention for peace, man. For peace, just for simplicity. Given everything we've grown up living. It doesn't need to be more complicated. You know, if I was really given peace and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I've got angst in me. I want to go and... Sorry, I'm in a lot of pain as I'm speaking, and it's just trying to regulate the pain. It's all the while keeping on track. I've forgotten what I was going to say. But yes, it's food for thought. It's for you to see a reality that a human being is experiencing, one that is innocent, one that is in pain, one that is tried to apply good intention all the way through, or as much as possible, given our humanness and given the outside world. For it to be a real serious consideration. Look, he's experiencing this, and I knew him once upon a time, and he was like this. And now he's telling me that in his life that could be referenced as evil by some. Should I listen? Should I be aware of this information? What do I do with it? And that's for you all to think. I can't tell you anymore. If you don't want to hear how the very things that you live for are helping to create an injustice in my life, then don't listen. I understand the reasonings. My circumstance would have created exactly the same thing in your life. I would ignore it. But then if there's ever a time that you think, actually, no, I'm in a place where I can maybe my own reality by hearing a different reality by an individual I once knew as you once knew me. And through the filter of what the information I've just shared with you. That basically, I have no point to prove. I have no point to make. These videos help my condition. I'm aware of my condition. I believe my condition is important for myself to manage. But on the flip side, I understand that my condition, as a result of the inputs, should be, according to everything I've learned, in sincerity, in honesty, it should be important to everybody. Because there's a lot going on for me of constant injustice. Injustice. Meaning, if I was left alone, my life would be like living in an Atlantis, or even Atlantis times 100. I'd be in pure bliss, I'd be in heaven. But the injustices in my life are causing me to look like this, sound like this, look like this, live like this. And I'll leave it up to you to imagine what it would take in terms of the world, reality, mind, love, all the different systems, cultures and everything else, history, and our future as a humanity, to figure it out if that's okay to be left uncleared. Because at the moment I'm going around in circles. I have been for too long. I'm just collecting more and more. Is that okay to be left alone? Injustice. Is that okay? Does that affect you? Does it affect, in other words, ask the question, does it affect me? And when you can, listen to the videos in a way that probably will be unpleasant, given how these videos sound. But like that saying, I hate using sayings, I don't use sayings, but the truth hurts. That's bollocks, isn't it? That the truth hurts. Surely we can do better than that, man.